All right, Mayor, this has us going live. I'll just wait for it to give out some alerts to everyone that's generally tuning in and make sure we get some folks that hop on with us this morning. And it looks like we have a couple of people. Hello, Wayne. Thank you for hopping on. If you're coming on right now, just go ahead and give us a thumbs up so I can give you a nice shout out. I think we're going to get started. We generally have some great information. I want to be sure that we get to it all. So good morning and welcome to a new week. It is Monday. Believe it or not, that weekend just flew by. And we are back here with our COVID-19 series. As you all are aware, I am your host, Juliette Abdel, President and CEO of the Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And I'm sure several of you have already started perusing our page on the video section to review a lot of the videos that we've already hosted since March. But if you are a first-time attendee here and are tuning in, then be sure that you like the page, follow us for updates, and be sure to navigate over to the video section of this page so you can find out information and several other resources that we've been able to post over the last, I was saying a month and a half, now it's almost 2 months because that's how fast time is going by. So I have with me every Monday the pleasure of visiting with our mayor, Mayor Herb Atchison, and he shares with us some updates from City Hall and the various efforts that he's personally involved with as a mayor, roundtables, meetings, discussions with our state, with our governor and such. So I'll turn this over to Mayor Atchison to get us started and share updates. Please be sure as you're listening in, if you have any comments and you find some of the information relevant and valuable, let us know so we can continue to bring that type of information back to you. If you have questions, also type those into the chat section of this video so we can get those addressed for you live. Again, thank you for tuning in with us, and hello to our board chair, Brian Dice, Vanessa DeMott, Dave Carpenter, and several others that are hopping on here. Mayor, I'll have you take it away.
All right, thanks, Juliette. Good morning, everyone. You know, as the COVID-19 public health crisis continues, the Westminster City Council will continue to work to protect the public's health. We passed a resolution requiring all people above age 3 who are, and this is important, who are medically able to wear non-medical cloth face coverings in local businesses or outdoors when social distancing is not possible. This resolution was passed and adopted on May the 11th. Give you some current numbers that we got. These numbers are as of yesterday. The first ones I want to give you are dealing with Jefferson County and Adams County. According to the data from the Jefferson County Public Health, there have been 1,831 confirmed cases of COVID-19 and 126 deaths in Jefferson County as of yesterday. From the Tri-County Health Department, 2,613 cases of COVID-19 in Adams County and 102 deaths. Again, this information is as of yesterday. Believe me, the city is still in the midst of a pandemic, and this is why the City Council implemented the resolution. This order includes all interactions people may have with businesses and government facilities in the city. And as the Westminster businesses work to reopen, we strive to foster the economic health of our city while prioritizing the health and safety of staff and customers. Additionally, Westminster City Council has authorized funding to procure cloth face coverings to support our local businesses who wish to provide the face covering to customers who may not come prepared with their own. Our goal is to provide short-term assistance to businesses who have not yet identified a reliable supply chain for face coverings by providing a limited quantity in the coming weeks. Staff is currently working on the logistics and time frame to support this effort. An email survey will be going out to the business community to gauge the number of businesses who will need the support and how many face masks they would need for their business. In line with this, over the weekend, the governor signed an extension to the current order requiring all critical and essential business worker employees, whoever works in there, it could be a grocery store, hardware store, wherever, that they must continue to wear face coverings now through the middle of June. So they originally were expiring at the end of this month. That's been extended to June 17th right now. Now, one thing I would ask you to do is if you see someone not wearing a face coverings, we encourage you to maintain social distance and demonstrate respect for others when following the resolution. There are many times valid medical reasons that may prohibit someone from wearing a face covering. If you're in a store and you come in close contact with someone who is not wearing face coverings, do not take it upon yourself to be the person to confront them. Contact a business employee, let them know of your concerns, and let the stores handle it. If there's a problem that it escalates over that person dealing with the customers in the store and with the store employees, they will handle it. And if need be, if it escalates to that point, then they can call the police. But we do not want you to be the person patrolling it. Across the United States, right now, we have 1.46 million people sick. We are at 99,000 deaths. And this is as of Friday. We are still seeing projections by the CDC that we will reach 100,000 people who have lost their lives in a connection to COVID-19 by the 1st of June. In Colorado, we have over 22,000 positive cases. We have almost 4,000 people who have been hospitalized, and we have 1,215 deaths. 60 of the 64 counties are reporting positive test cases. So think of that as all of 64 counties, only 4 have not reported positive cases. Now, some of the information is coming out about park campgrounds and reopenings in Jefferson County, and this is open to limited capacity. Chatfield opened on May the 12th. Stanton opened on May the 12th. Golden Gate opened on the 15th. And the governor has invited the state to join tomorrow. Now, this was as of last Friday. Many of you realize that many of the municipalities and counties, as well as the state, honored those people on Friday night at 7 p.m. who had lost their lives either through a connection to COVID or directly from COVID. And there was a long period of silence. We've had a couple of large flyovers that have been conducted by military and civilian personnel as well. Some of the things we'll ask you to do and to think about, currently the HEROES Act has just been passed out of the House. It has now gone to the Senate. That bill will be debated this week. There is a lot of indication of one way or the other whether or not this will ever get out of the Senate. But we also had indications from the White House that it may not get their signature. If this were to go through in its current state, the city of Westminster could receive directly from the federal government approximately $40 million for the years 2020 and 2021. That's combined for those 2 years. That would be a huge piece of money coming back in to help the city and for us to continue things like the RISE program and others to help our businesses recover. We don't know if we'll get it. We don't know what strings will be attached to it, but this money would be coming direct to the municipalities, not distributed by the county or the state if it were to pass. That would also get the money to our citizens and to our communities a lot faster. I don't have a feeling one way or the other if it's going to. I just think it will be a tough uphill battle to get it through. But that bill right now is about $3 trillion. One of the things we want to help everyone to look at is some of our 8 updates on the Safer at Home Act are expected from the governor on the 25th. And this is going to be primarily around restaurants, gathering places such as workout studios, gyms and stuff. But with him just having extended the other critical businesses having to continue to wear face coverings, we're not sure if we'll still see the update on the 25th or not. We don't have an indication at this point from the governor how far he's going to go with restaurants reopening. We do expect that based on past conversations as late as last week, it will still be very much a gradual reopening. Businesses will have to make the decision if it's financially feasible for them to return or not return. But as Juliet and I were talking before we went live on the air, even if the governor were to say on the 25th that businesses can start to reopen to certain levels, this could take several weeks for the people to get food supplies regenerated, to get the restaurants cleaned, get them set up for a reopening, and get employees rehired. As we talked about last week, we're still seeing a large number of people who are saying that they will not go back to work because they don't feel comfortable with it. So if that happens, then that's going to put a bigger challenge for restaurants to find people to go back to work. We also had a call out from Growing Home. As you probably know, Growing Home is a wonderful organization that serves Westminster and the North Metro Adams County community by providing families in need with food, personal hygiene items, preventing homelessness with various resources, including direct housing assistance. Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, they have been seeing an increase in nearly 3 times the amount of families they typically serve, and they need the support of the broader community to keep up with a greater demand for their services. In order to meet this need, the City of Westminster has launched an ongoing front porch pickup food drive that will continue throughout the summer and will kick off an in-person event May the 30th between 9 a.m. and noon, where our own representative Shannon Bird is asking for help promoting this in-person and social distance safe event by sharing it in your networks and encouraging people to either donate money directly to Growing Home or by contributing much needed in-kind donations to the MAC Community Center in South Westminster on the 30th. Again, you can drop it off at the MAC. They're on 72nd and Law on the 30th if you have something you'd like to donate. And we talked a little bit about the things that are going on, and what we're seeing is no flattening and no decline in our COVID infections in either Adams or in Jefferson County. Our numbers are still going up. And as long as that's happening, we will not be able to move out of a state of emergency declaration. As both of our health departments have said, we need at least 14 days of a flattened or declining curve in order for them to start to release more information about the potential of returning to a more open state of normal. That is also true of the state. Until they can see it, they will probably not release this. And as long as the state and our health departments direct, we will stay in this state of emergency. We ask everyone to comply as much as possible. If you have things that prevent you from wearing face coverings, we understand that. And there is no shaming of someone not wearing a covering because of a health issue. But we ask you, if at all possible, use the face coverings, whatever you have. If there are ways that you can go into the business and be safe, please do that. But many of our businesses are requiring them to protect the workers in there as well. So we want everyone to be safe. We've already lost too many people to this infection. We would like not to lose any more. Juliet, that's about the bulk of the update I have for you this morning.
Well, we went through a lot, so let me just kind of give some shout outs to folks that have hopped on, do some recap on some of what you've touched on, and then maybe we can have some questions that arise. Thank you to our Mayor Pro Tem, Anita Seitz, and Councilor Voles for hopping on here. Hello, Thane and Melissa Snyder, both of whom are out of state and are tuned in. Thank you for tuning in with us. We have Silver Touch Aesthetics, who's thanking you, Mayor, for sharing these updates. They're located up at the Orchards. And again, just some feedback from Denise King, our board chair, Brian Dice, and Wayne Anderson, thanking you for hopping on here with us. And hello, Lynn. Lynn and I will be doing a couple fun things here coming up, so stay tuned for that. So if you're just hopping on, Mayor Atchison went through a whole bunch of facts at the start. He started by sharing the city mandate for wearing the masks. And he also went into detail about, in terms of safety, if you're out and you see someone who's not wearing masks, not necessarily trying to take it upon yourself to engage with them, keep that distance and kind of stay in your lane and go, as opposed to trying to be the one that is administering that or tries to get somebody to put something on. I thought that was a very great point that you mentioned, Mayor Atchison, especially because we try and emphasize to everyone, even when you're wearing a mask, it doesn't mean to come close to anybody. You still maintain that socially distanced space that's there so you can be as healthy as possible. So that was one thing that we touched on. We touched a little bit just now about growing homes, and thank you for sharing that. I know Representative Byrd has reached out to both Westminster Public Schools and Westminster Chambers, so both of us are pushing some of that information out to try and get some food and hygiene items donated out to that area nonprofit of ours. There's the HEROES Act that Mayor Atchison also mentioned, which is at the federal level, essentially looking to potentially support individual municipalities with funding, not necessarily known on what specific dollars go to where, but it would be an influx of dollars to go towards some sort of a recovery. Mayor Atchison also touched on the governor's extension of the masks for essential employees to be wearing them. That was set to expire at the end of this month and has been extended into June. And then for those of our restaurants or other types of food establishments that were curious about when they can reopen following specific guidelines or recommendations, that's still yet to be determined. But one of the things Mayor Atchison and I were both sharing was be thinking ahead and try and plan as much as you can, even with the unknown. Because even, I mean, if we turn around and would open tomorrow, and if you hadn't necessarily planned out your food supply, your chain, or how you would handle rehiring employees and things of that nature, it would essentially delay your progress to reopen. If anyone has any questions, please comment them in the comment section of this video broadcast. I know last time, Mayor Atchison, we had that question about how many of the COVID cases touched local municipalities, and that's information they do not break down for us, correct?
That's correct. They do not take it down to the municipal level. It's held only at the county level.
And then as information about some of the PPP that the city is securing the masks, and that survey comes out to try and gauge which businesses are in need of it, we will also push that out to everyone to try and get the word out and help as many people as possible. This gives me a segue because I haven't announced it yet, Mayor Atchison, but we had a COVID kit giveaway, basically this fun kit that was full of masks. We had partners from Front Range Pharmalogic that provided us thermometers, forehead thermometers. We have little hand sanitizers that were locally provided to us as well. And then signage that people can display at their location, along with a couple other things in COVID kits. That's essentially what we branded them as. We have 3 winners of those prizes. Wayne Anderson was one of those, Emilio Valdez was the other, and then the last was Lilenia. So all 3 of you will be contacted this week so that we can arrange to provide you with those items. We do have Councillor DeMont, and he's asking, where can people look at the numbers in the county?
There, you would have to go to the county health department's website.
So on
if we're split, you'd have to go to both.
Yes, yeah. So on both, so to answer the question where to find the information on specific data or metrics that were thrown out earlier, Tri-County Health Department for Adams County, and then Jeffco Public Health Department, so you can find the information relevant on a county level as to how many cases have been there, how many deaths, and kind of looking ahead what's out there as well. We also have a Common Growing Homes is a great local organization to support. It definitely is, and they've been crucial during this time and to get the word out. So Mayor, is there anything that you would, I know we were also discussing Memorial Day's coming up this weekend, and how is that going to affect our communities? You know, if we can give people a soundbite, and we shared, you know, stay in your cars and go out and do some of that type of thing. But just kind of being mindful, is there a small message we want to give to folks?
Well, I would tell you, very much like we were talking about earlier, people are being creative and finding ways to try to do some social interaction. As I indicated, I passed a parking lot yesterday where a couple of families had picked up food from a restaurant. They'd gone out and got in their cars, and they had a table set up between the 2 cars so that they could share a meal, but they were still social distancing. They were still wearing their face coverings. One of the things I do want to mention that this happened last Friday was a hero's thank you. This has happened up at St. Anthony's North Hospital, 144. Fire trucks, ambulances, police cars from all the surrounding communities did a hero's parade for our healthcare workers at St. Anthony. And then it's healthcare workers were doing signs for our first responders. We had a great turnout from the equipment. All the social distancing was kept in place. Nobody got out of their vehicles. It was not made notice to the public because they were worried about the fact that people might be coming around that were not wearing protective equipment. But we want to thank all of our healthcare workers, our first responders, and anyone who helps in the way that they can to protect lives and be safe in our own world. We still have a long way to go. We're still seeing this, and unfortunately, we're seeing a new element of this that's now coming back to us that we were told again very early on that this was not affecting, and that's children. Mm-hmm. Our number of children nationwide is growing, and unfortunately, we're losing some of those battles. So whatever you can do to protect yourself, protect your family, and be conscious and protect the others you come into contact with, that will be most helpful in trying to get us through this period.
Absolutely. Hello, Anne and Parker. Thank you for hopping on with us. And Amanda Weber, hello to you all. All 3 of these are small business owners as well. So thank you for tuning in to get informed. We have a question that comes to us from Wayne. He's asking, any updates on the Westminster financial support of local businesses? And I think he may be referencing, we have the Westy Rice grant program that had closed and we reopened it after the initial applications were evaluated. So maybe an update on some of that.
Right now, what I can tell you is we did open it up for a second round. That round is open till May the 30th. We had approximately 400 applications on the first round, and I believe that checks were sent out to a little over 200. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but that may be discussed tonight again. As we do at the end of each council meeting now, we have an update on COVID from our individual departments so that they know what's going on from the EOC, from our city manager's office. I will expect that we will have another report once we close the second round. But there was still money left over after the first round, so we went ahead and opened it back up, and I can't tell you how many applications have come in.
Excellent. And then was there anything else in terms of support to local businesses financially outside of that we want to reference?
Not off the top of my head. I know we're still doing the courtesy calls to all of our businesses to make sure that, just like we were talking about with the survey for the face coverings. And again, let me go back to the face coverings for just a quick second. We are not asking you to wear a medical grade hospital mask, nor are we asking you to wear the N95. Those are most important for our healthcare workers and our first responders. Face coverings can be cloth, whatever you have to make them out of. The idea is to help slow down any kind of an infection spread. Money-wise, we are still looking at how we can help businesses. As we talked about with the HEROES Act, that money would be very essential to helping Westminster recover financially, and potentially, depending upon how the act comes out, how we could be able to use some of that money. As we indicated last week, our IGAs with both Jefferson and Adams County have been modified to make sure that we understand what the requirements are. We've already sent in our first rounds of bills. We're hoping to get the reimbursements for those soon. But we were prepared because we are tracking every cent that we can that is affected by the COVID-19 infection, where we can look for potential reimbursements. Between Adams and Jefferson County combined, we will receive, if we can justify it through our receipts, approximately $9 million worth of relief funds for the COVID CARES Act. So those things are still ongoing. We still don't know the impacts, and we hopefully have a report here in the next week of how our financial impacts were for the month of April. We should hear something about where we're at on that review sometime tonight.
Excellent. And then tonight is City Council. Can we reference the time for folks that may not have already been tuned in before, and how to submit any questions if they have any?
Any questions they have from general questions need to be submitted to the city clerk's office by noon today. That's 37 minutes from now. And then we will look at those and try to answer those. But council starts at 7 o'clock tonight, and it will be the same webcast that we've been doing. And all the council members have been good about getting there on time, and we've been able to get through the agendas. We have a fairly lengthy agenda tonight, just like we have been, because so much stuff is starting to back up. We're trying to get the city to stay on top of the business requirements as much as possible. All of our departments are still open and functioning. Our first responders are doing what they need to do, but also our engineering staff, facilities groups. Many of the things that we were hoping to and be able to put off for a while are now being able to be done because we don't have a lot of the traffic in the buildings. An example, I was just over the other day picking up an order from the Legacy Ridge Grill. They had planned to close later this summer to redo the flooring in the building. But because the COVID-19 caused the closure of the golf course clubhouse and the restaurant, that was expedited and they've got it all finished. So it looks really great in there. Clean new flooring, no more carpet. So it's easier to take clean and it looks a lot better. It's great looking, and it'll be good for when we can reopen.
Absolutely. That's something to look forward to. State Representative Tracy Kraft-Tharp, it looks like she's hopped on. Hello to you. Alberto Garcia as well. Thank you for hopping on. The mayor just referenced again the mask mandate and some of the information related to staying healthy and maintaining your social distance. We just released, and this was earlier today, we just released the PPE supplier list. So if you're a business or an individual that's looking to find a local area that they can purchase either gloves, masks, hand sanitizers, some things that are higher grade that are to support you in reopening or even going out there, please reference that list. It's businesses that are in or around our community. If they're not directly in our community, the people that are connected to them and run it are, so there's still that local contact, and we'll update those lists continually for you. The mayor recapped on several items, so if you're just now tuning in, I suggest that you rewind and replay it. Give us that hashtag replay and let us know that you've tuned in. If a question comes to mind, type in that question. Mayor Atchison has been great about emailing back and forth some answers for me, and then we've shared that onto these comment sections of the video for you. If you're interested in the city council meeting that's tonight at 7 o'clock, however, public comments close off here at noon, and they would need to be sent in, the questions or comments, to our city. So make sure that if that's of interest, that you navigate over to the City of Westminster page, where you can find the agenda that's lengthy, as normally is. But now that Mayor Atchison shared that, I'm scared to even look at what his lengthy might mean. But you'll find the lengthy agenda that's on there. And then I know that the city is maintaining some outreach efforts to our community to check up on you all. We have also, we're going on the second week now of phone calls for reopening to check and see which businesses have reopened or readjusted their time period. So a lot of the videos that we're doing, that we started this last week and moving forward, are actually transitioning. Instead of adapting to COVID, it's adapting to reopening in wake of COVID. So we had topics like the legal implications for opening your business, how to keep your employees healthy and safe, contactless payments. That was all last week. Tomorrow we'll come back to you here at 11 a.m. to talk with you more about insurance. So are you insured? What does that look like in terms of event cancellations, product liability, and other things like that? But I do want to go ahead and thank our mayor for taking the time every week to visit with us. I know next week is going to be an elongated weekend for Memorial Day, so we're considering if a broadcast is going to be doable or not. If it's not, we'll still have an update for you all, and just maintain some safety. Happy Memorial Day to you in advance. And thank you, Mayor Atchison, for tuning in with us.
You're welcome, and have a good day. Enjoy the holiday.
Thank you.